The Dodgers just buried the Padres and opened up a 10-game divisional lead, with help from, believe it or not, Kyle Tucker.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Harry Ruiz, and it's time for Locked On Dodgers. On today's show, another setback for one of the organization's top pitching prospects, River Ryan. The Dodgers embark into one of the more unique road trips that they've taken as they head to Sacramento to face the Athletics in a minor league stadium. But first, the Dodgers leave San Diego with a 10-game lead in the NL West. Coming into the weekend, everyone knew this series carried plenty of attention because it's Dodgers versus Padres. But when the series ended Sunday afternoon, what mattered most wasn't who won one individual game, it was the standings. The Dodgers walked out of Petco Park with a series victory 2-1 and now own a 10-game lead in the National League West. No other division leader in Major League Baseball has a cushion even close to that size. The Brewers, they currently own the second largest lead in baseball at 5.5 games over the Cubs. The Dodgers are almost doubling that. That's remarkable considering everything that this club has dealt with this season. Injuries, pitching adjustments, players missing time, lineup adjustments, players not delivering the way that their price tag has them in the team looking like that. Yet, here we are, 48 hours away from the calendar turning into July, and Los Angeles has created real separation. That's what makes this weekend so encouraging because, yes, Friday was frustrating. Roki Sasaki simply couldn't find enough strikes. The 5 walks that he gave to the Padres put him behind all night long, and against a lineup like San Diego's, giving away free base runners usually catches up to you. The encouraging part here is that we've already seen Roki show that he can dominate at this level earlier this season. Now it's about getting the mechanics back where they need to be and cutting down those free passes. When you give walks the way that Roki did in this game, it's going to catch you. That's what happened. 3-run home run with the Dodgers up 1-0, and that ended up being the difference in this game. But what impressed me the most was the response to this, because after only having 1 run in 9 innings on Friday, Saturday looked like an offense that simply refused to let Friday just hang in the back of their heads. That 6th inning was unbelievable for the boys in blue. Tied ball game? Not no more. 9-run rally. The Dodgers sent 12 hitters to the plate, and that was one of the biggest developments from the entire weekend. Having that inning, why? Because Kyle Tucker and Dalton Rushing both left the yard. Those home runs matter for much more than just one night's box score and a win in this season. Because you look at Tucker, he now only has 3 home runs over his last 43 games. That for Dalton Rushing was his second bomb in his previous 41. These are 2 hitters who are capable of producing a lot more power than we've seen recently. But the thing is, capable, and are they actually doing it? And look, maybe this doesn't suddenly mean that both of them are about to go on huge home run streaks or positive outings now left and right. But if this weekend helps get both of these guys going offensively, that's another layer of length in an already dangerous lineup. Because you know that Dalton Rushing is going to be playing out there more often than not when Will Smith is on the IL. When Will Smith comes back, which now it seems more likely that it happens until after the All-Star break, when Will comes back, he's going to get most of the load when it comes to being the catcher, the starting catcher for this team, and Dalton Rushing, he'll be limited. Right now, Rushing, since Will Smith got hurt, his production dipped when it comes to with the bat, and now getting that home run definitely can be a confidence booster for him. Kyle Tucker, he getting that home run plus also having one of his better nights overall, collecting 3 hits while driving 4 runs, that can be something as well that just gives him some type of encouragement that unfortunately it doesn't seem like he hasn't been able to find so far this season, with this being his toughest stretch of baseball when it comes to the beginning of a season. At least I went back to the 2021 season all the way until now, and I couldn't find any 83 game stretch kicking off a season for his team to be looking the way that he has right now with the Dodgers. So that's encouraging. Hopefully it's more than just a good weekend in San Diego. Hopefully they're able to carry it next into Sacramento, and after that those next 3 series that are happening at home before the All-Star break, and then heading on the road for 2 series in New York, the Yankees, the Mets, and putting Philadelphia in there in the middle of that sandwich. Those 9 games on the road are going to be important as well. But right now, let's see if they're able to get something fixed before the All-Star break. That way, you get the All-Star break and you come back with a little bit more of pep in your step instead of having to find something. Hopefully, you already found it before you go to kick off the second half of the season. And then there's Mookie Betts. If there's one player who may have changed the conversation over the last couple of weeks, it's him. That pep on his step that I'm talking about, that hopefully Tucker and Rushing find, Mookie Betts has found it. Sunday might not have included another home run like he did in his 3 prior games to Sunday. Instead, it showed something just as important. Big hits in key situations. His 2-run single in the 5th inning ended up being the biggest swing of the afternoon. And since June 13th, he's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. And what I really like is that it's not just the numbers. That at times we just focus on that too much. But if you watch the games, you've seen the quality of his at-bats increase. He's attacking pitchers with conviction again. He's making adjustments within at-bats. He's driving the baseball instead of simply trying to survive trips to the plate. And you see him now in that 4-hole at the cleanup spot, looking way more comfortable than the 2-hole where he was pretty much most of the season until he was dropped to the cleanup spot recently after he returned from his oblique injury. He seems comfortable right there. Leave him there. Don't mess around with him. Another conversation is Andy Pages. He's the one now struggling with the 2 spot with this team. And man, that seems to be a cursed situation for the Dodgers if you're the number 2 hitter behind Shohei Ohtani, because we've seen Mookie Betts. We've seen Kyle Tucker. Now we see Andy Pages. And it's like, guys, is there something going on? Is there a curse? Do we got to call WWE superstar Dan Housen to uncurse them in that spot like he did with the Knicks? Uncurse them. They won the championship. We don't even need him to uncurse the entire team. Everybody in that lineup is doing good except the 2 spot for the Dodgers. It seems like it's a situation that hasn't been the front office and the coaching staff, the manager, Dave Roberts, and everybody behind him haven't been able to find a solution for the 2 spot. But Mookie Betts, right now, keep him at number 4 in that lineup. He homered on Saturday. That was his 3rd straight game going yard. And then Sunday, he delivered the biggest hit with runners in scoring position. And he finished the game by turning the double play that ended the series, pretty much identical to the Fall Classic Game 7 extra innings. Him picking up the ball at short, stepping on second, throwing to first, game over. And when Mookie Betts looks like this, everything changes. The lineup becomes significantly deeper because pitchers can't simply focus on Shohei Ohtani or Freddie Freeman. If Betts keeps trending in this direction while Tucker starts producing more consistently and Dalton Rushing adds another dangerous bat, suddenly opposing pitching staffs have very few places to breathe. This already in a lineup that leads baseball in a lot of statistical categories all around when it comes to batting. This already with a team that has the best record in baseball without playing to its highest potential. So man, that's what fan bases from other teams complain about. Oh, it's unfair. Oh, this and that. Is like, well, the Dodgers spend money, and even when they don't spend it the right way, and I'm using air quotes because you look at the way that the Kyle Tucker situation is developing with him not producing the way a $60 million player per year is producing, and they're still winning this way, it's a completely different situation for other teams. If Toronto had landed him and he wasn't producing, Toronto would be in deeper problems than they already are. Or if another team landed him, if he returned to Houston or the Yankees got him, whoever got him, and he doesn't produce or he's producing the way that he's with the Dodgers, huge deal. With the Dodgers, he's one of 9. You still got way more pieces that are positive, that are doing a good job with this team, and that are helping them get wins. And one of them is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He didn't have his absolute best splitter on Saturday. He wasn't missing bats at his usual rate, but he still gave the Dodgers 6 quality innings in that 15-3 win in San Diego. And that's exactly what frontline starters do. Sometimes you dominate, sometimes you simply compete, and Yamamoto did exactly that. Gave the offense every opportunity to eventually break the game open, which they ended up doing in that 6th inning with that 9-run rally for the boys in blue. And Yamamoto, I was going through his month, and it's like, man, I feel that this month of June is the one that he has received the most run support in a full month of baseball since he debuted in the major leagues in 2024. So good for him. Now also do that when Shohei Ohtani is on the mound. The Dodgers, they lost Friday. They exploded offensively on Saturday, and then they played clean baseball Sunday in a competitive, entertaining game, all of them in completely different fashion. Close game on Friday, frustrating offensive game. Then they explode with the bats on Saturday, like I said, and on Sunday, it was a close one, but good one for the boys in blue being able to end on top. And now they head to the next and final stop of their last road trip of the first half of the season, sitting at the top of the NL West with a 10-game divisional lead, plus the best record in the sport. So let me close this first segment of this week's first show of Locked On Dodgers. What impressed you the most from the series in San Diego? Let me know. Was it Mookie Betts and his hot streak that continues going with the boys in blue? Was it Kyle Tucker having that big night on Saturday over there in San Diego? Dalton Rushing getting his second home run in over 40 games? Is there Freddie Freeman and his solid play? He keeps getting doubles. He keeps playing fantastic first base. Was there anything else that caught your eye? Let me know. Drop your take in the comments or hit us up on our social networks or also via the Locked On Dodgers listener line. You can either leave a voicemail or a text at 279-3-LOCKED. I want to hear where you stand. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, the Dodgers are about to play somewhere they've never played before. We'll talk about the unique trip to Sacramento, what to expect, and why this series will be unlike any other on the schedule. A big thank you goes out to our friends at Amazon for this limited break. This back-to-school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. You heard that right. Look, we all know how wild back-to-school shopping gets. You kick off with a short list, and suddenly you're deep in supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, and a bunch of stuff you didn't even plan for. It stacks up fast. When the teacher's supply list arrives and somehow every item feels completely reasonable on its own, then you add everything together and realize just how much stuff one kid needs for one school year. So here's the move. With Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them yet. Shop back to school at Amazon and spend less on your kids. You can get every episode of Locked On Dodgers ad-free through the Everydayer Club. There's a free 7-day trial waiting for you at lockedondodgers.supercast.com or through the link in the show notes. Plus, check out Pete Fox on our YouTube channel with the Locked On Dodgers postcast right after the final out for immediate reaction of every Dodgers game. Next stop, a Major League Series in a minor league park. The Dodgers head somewhere they've never been before, Sacramento. For the first time in franchise history, they'll play a regular season series at Sutter Health Park against the Athletics. It's one of the more unusual settings Major League Baseball has seen in years. The stadium holds over 14,000 people, just over 14,000 people. And to put that into perspective, the Dodgers drew more than 465,000 fans during their first 3 home series this season. The Athletics, they haven't reached that total through their first 41 home games. That's a remarkable contrast. And Why are they playing in Sacramento? Well, it's a temporary situation for the A's because they're spending 3 years there, 3 seasons there, before eventually moving to Las Vegas, with the current plan being there in Vegas for the start of the 2028 season. And since this is an interleague matchup, National League versus American League, this will also likely be the Dodgers' only trip to Sacramento unless scheduling changes come down the road. So the Dodgers, they'll only play this series in Sacramento, and then in 2 years, in 2028, if everything goes to plan, they will be one of the National League teams that will play the A's in Las Vegas. And I know Dodgers fans in Las Vegas, we run deep. I've been living in Vegas for 9 years. I've been here when they've won 2 of the 3 World Series. The last one, I was over in Nebraska calling a game for the USC Trojans. I was here in Vegas when they won the last one, the previous one in 2024, and also in 2020. And I've seen Dodgers fans just absolutely take over everywhere in the city. So you got local fans in Vegas. You got fans who can make that easy trip from the LA area over to Las Vegas, and that stadium, which will be just over 30,000 fans, I can guarantee you it will be a full invasion for the Dodgers in Sin City. And I feel it's going to be the same situation over in Sacramento because there's a lot of Dodgers fans in that area as well. And it's interesting, it's fun to see this team in a minor league ballpark. Something similar to last season. Remember when the Dodgers visited Tampa while the Rays were playing at George M. Steinbrenner Field? The Trop, it had some structural damage, so they had to play 2025 over at the Yankees park where they have their spring training games, and that also created a unique environment. The Dodgers, they won 2 out of those 3 games, with both of those victories coming in a shutout, and the loss also coming in a shutout. And now they'll try to repeat that success in another non-traditional major league setting. And this situation here, it's when you go to a minor league park. I live in Vegas, the Las Vegas ballpark. It's awesome. It's a small ballpark, but when I've been out there to watch the OKC Comets, it's cool because you can literally go all the way down to the bottom of the stands, and the dugout, it's right there. It's not VIP suites like at Dodger Stadium where you got to dish out big bucks to get close to the players. It's pretty much, you have your ticket, but it's rarely sold out when it comes to minor league stadiums, so you can get as close as you can, or before the game, you can try to get as close as you can to stars, where in other settings and usual settings when it comes to major league stadiums, you got security pushing people a little bit back. Hey, that's not your seat. You got to move you over here. In minor league stadiums, it's different. And then it's a PCL ballpark where the ball flies, where there's a lot of offense. So if they just scored 15 runs on Saturday over in San Diego, there's an opportunity for an encore out here. And then how cool is that the stadium seating, the permanent seats, they're a little bit over 10,000. But then when you talk about the grass berms, those are 3,800, somewhere around there, that fans that can sit there in the outfield. Man, if you love chasing baseballs, potential home runs, if you could get a Shohei Ohtani bomb sitting out in the outfield without paying big bucks and just enjoying your time out there with a little bit more space, that's also a cool opportunity for Dodgers fans, for baseball fans, for A's fans to be able to experience this week over in Sacramento. Monday, the pitching matchup. You got 2 lefties, Eric Lauer. He's going to get the ball for Los Angeles, and unlike his last start where the Dodgers put an opener in front of him in Minnesota, they're going to let him go out there from the beginning of the game. He has now 6 consecutive innings without allowing a hit. 6 scoreless, 6 hitless over in Minnesota. Let's see how he does over in Sacramento with the Athletics countering with Gage Jump. Tuesday, it features Robo, Justin Robleski against Jeffrey Springs. And then the big matchup, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Shohei Ohtani will be on the mound for the boys in blue. He'll have the dynamite in his arms. He'll try to be the elite pitcher that we all know that he's an all-elite guy. Let's have him be that type of guy. And he'll be taking the mound against arguably the Athletics' best starter so far this season. JT Ginn. He leads them when it comes to wins, when it comes to ERA. So it has the opportunity to be a good matchup between these two guys. Let's see if it ends up delivering the way that we would like. And it's also another opportunity to continue building Ohtani's workload as he progresses throughout the season. So we've seen him now hit at the same time as he pitches over the last couple of games. Will it be another opportunity for him to do that, or will they give him the night off when it comes to hitting, but let him continue be the pitcher for the team that day? It's going to be like always, and then also add that little sprinkle of the Dalton Rushing situation. It'll be his first game, Ohtani's first game pitching since that situation last week over in Minnesota, so we will be keeping a close eye on it. There was Rushing's home run in San Diego on Saturday when coming back over to the dugout for the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. He was over there ready to take his next at-bat, congratulated him, so that was positive to see. Now we got to continue seeing that chemistry grow when it comes to these two guys being the battery. But I'm excited to see because the atmosphere should definitely be interesting. That's my favorite part of this series. Smaller ballpark, fans closer to the field, different backdrop, everything will probably feel more intimate than in a major league venue. But once the game starts, the assignment for the players, for the coaches, remains the same. Continue taking care of business. The Dodgers, they just created a 10-game cushion in their division, and we're not even over at the All-Star break. Now the challenge is keeping that momentum rolling before heading back home for those last three series at Dodger Stadium, kicking off with 4th of July weekend against the Padres. How crazy was that? Until this past weekend, the Dodgers had played the Padres only 3 times from the end of March all the way through pretty much the end of June, and now they're going to play against them 7 times in a 10-game span, in a 10-day span. But let's see. Already took care of business in San Diego. Now, before you focus on the Padres again, take care of business of the A's in Sacramento. So let me ask you, what are you most looking forward to seeing during the Dodgers series in Sacramento? Drop your answer in the comments or hit me up on social at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, or on TikTok at Harry Ruiz_. Next on Locked On Dodgers, another frustrating injury update involving River Ryan. The Dodgers still believe he'll be a contributor this season, but another hamstring issue has temporarily put those plans on hold. Are you new here? Welcome. Everydayers, you already know you're the heartbeat of our show. It's easy and free to help us out. Subscribe and like our content on YouTube. Drop a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify and hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line. 2793-LOCKED. That's 279-356-2533. Another detour for River Ryan. One of the biggest stories inside the Dodgers farm system this season has been River Ryan. Unfortunately, another injury has interrupted his progress. Ryan is back on the injured list because of the same hamstring that already sidelined him earlier for a month this year. The encouraging news is that Brandon Gomes, Dodgers GM, doesn't believe that it's anything major. Ryan can actually continue throwing, he just can't do it off of a mound while the hamstring issue settles down. That's certainly better than hearing about another arm issue, but it's still frustrating. Ryan finally worked his way back after missing all of last season recovering from Tommy John surgery. Now, he's trying to regain momentum while dealing with a completely different injury. And Dodgers fans, we've been hearing you here on Locked On Dodgers now for the last month and change. Call up River Ryan. Have him be up here. And what have we said? He has missed time due to his injury last year. Out the entire year, and then at the beginning of the season, he was injured, he came back, and now he's injured once again. You have to be able to make sure that he's good to go, and when you look at his stats, his overall ERA may not jump off of the page, but it's worth remembering that he had one rough outing that dramatically changed those numbers. His stats this year: in 8 starts, he currently has a 3-1 record with a 4.46 ERA over 36 and 1/3 innings that he has been on the mound for the OKC Comets. He pitched twice in April, then he was out for a month. He pitched 3 times in May, 3 times in June, and he once again is on the injured list. But the positive part is that he has continued missing bats. He has limited walks. The stuff has already looked very good. And the organization still clearly believes that he can help the major league club later this season. And Andrew Friedman, the main boss when it comes to baseball operations for the Boys in Blue, he has emphasized something that we've talked about here before. The Dodgers, they aren't just going to rush young pitchers returning from major surgery. And that right there is the right approach. It can be easy to look at the big league rotation and immediately ask, all right, who's next when we don't have Snell and Glasnow out for long periods of time, and say River Ryan is a huge prospect. The last time we saw him in a major league mound, he looked great. Bring him up now. The Dodgers, they pumped the brakes on that situation and looked at the rotation the way that it's structured right now, where you're able to have a guy like Yoshinobu Yamamoto be at the top of the list. You have another ace-type pitcher in Shohei Ohtani. You got Roki Sasaki, who they're continuing developing. 2 younger guys in Nemeth Sheehan and in Justin Robleski. And when the Glasnow situation happened, instead of calling up River Ryan, they got Eric Lauer off of the Toronto Blue Jays, and he has actually looked good with the Dodgers. So instead of risking River Ryan, who was building up his innings at AAA, they went and got a veteran from Toronto who didn't look good with the Blue Jays, and look at the way he's been pitching great with the Dodgers right now. Or I'll say this, great, putting it into perspective with what we had seen previously from him this year in another team. And when it comes to his outings, he has been giving the Dodgers quality. When it comes to you weren't expecting much from him, he's Mr. Right Now, not Mr. Future for the Dodgers. And he's been giving the Dodgers more than I think that they expected it out of him. So the fans wanted River Ryan. The team said, pump the brakes, let's bring in a vet. And the 6-man rotation has been looking good for the Dodgers. And unfortunately, River Ryan, this situation happens right now. And at the end of the day, the biggest priority right here isn't getting a pitcher to Los Angeles as quickly as possible. It's making sure that he's healthy enough to stay there once he arrives. We've seen it before with a guy like Nemeth Sheehan, same situation. After debuting, season-long injury, out for a long time, comes back. He's a guy that he's a little bit up and down. His development is still not completely finished, but you're hoping that he can be either a guy that can be in that rotation a long time, or if you need trade bait for another team, he's available there with other teams saying, we want him on our team here now. But the focus when it comes to River Ryan is to get healthy, to stay healthy, continue building innings, because if he can finally string together a couple of months healthy, then he absolutely, has the talent to impact this pitching staff before the season ends. But you gotta stay healthy. Your best ability is your availability. So hopefully this latest setback proves to be exactly what the Dodgers described it as. A short pause instead of another interruption. What worries me is that we've heard that situation from other players in the past. It's a short situation. Tyler Glasnow, it's a back issue, but it's nothing bad. Will Smith, it's a small neck issue. We'll have him back very soon. And both of those guys out for now. Glasnow out for 2 months. Will Smith, we're going into a third week without him in the lineup. So like I said, hopefully this is the case where they say it's not too bad. He's on the 7-day IL. Hopefully he returns. And if that's the case, Ryan should still factor into the Dodgers' plans later this summer as a team is trying to go for a three-peat. So let me ask you, how confident are you that River Ryan will make an impact for the Dodgers before the end of the season? Let me know in the YouTube comments or reach out on social media. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network as we celebrate a decade of existence. I'll be back on Tuesday with a returning Travis Rogers to recap the Dodgers' first game against the Athletics in Sacramento and much more. If you're with us every day, check out the Everydayer Club. You'll get Locked On Dodgers completely ad-free, access to our members-only Discord, and more perks along the way. Join the party at LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com. If you're watching on YouTube, stick around and check out the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network channel. And if you're listening on audio, make Locked On MLB your second listen of the day. I appreciate you riding with me. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.